there are some identifiable early stages of development that are specific only to children.
Yeah.
And that kind of culminates in the work that a philosopher named Jean Piaget, who any of your education majors would be familiar with, but culminated around middle school.
Yeah.
And it was sort of this concrete operational way of understanding the world. We call that level 2. Level 1 is a stage of development in childhood that no children don't grow through. So they're meaning there are no adults then that are still making sense of the world like a 5-year-old, despite what people tell me every day. You haven't met my boss, right? But level 2 is this really concrete, either or kind of fixed understanding of the world.
Yeah.
That also happens to be very me first.
Okay.
Like, I've got to win. I've got to come out on top. I've got to get my way. And unfortunately, even in the adult professional population, about 3 to 5% of adults, and that doesn't sound like much, but for every 100 people, that's maybe 5 people.
Yeah.
Still make sense of the world in this very either or, me first, what am I going to get out of it, how am I going to win kind of way. And so that's level 2.
Yeah.
For teenagers and even very young adults who are continuing to grow, they have moved out of that me first way, and there is a more connected understanding that I am part of systems that are bigger than me.
Yeah.
That being able to put myself in other people's shoes, and all of this begins to characterize level 3 understanding. Now, all of that is positive. Having mentors in your life, having key influencers in your life, identifying with ideologies, both politically, religiously, in the way work should be done, in the way friends should be with one another, around parenting, around all of these different things. People are shaped by those people that they choose to affiliate with.
Yeah.
And that's appropriate for a period of time. The average age in the population that people sort of hit the apex, if you will, of level 3 is 22 years of age. The problem is that an increasing number of people stop growing once they get there. And what you see is sort of an immature over-identification with these affiliations.
Yeah.
So again, the easiest, we're not, politics and religion is always dangerous to talk about, but in a very general sense, being shaped by the influences you choose to associate with, but never really taking ownership of those, becomes an arrested development, a characteristic of not continuing to grow.
Yeah.
But most adults, now we're up to the remaining 80% or so of the population continue to push through level 3 and move into level 4.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that's funny, Jason, is the growth in the normal population, just the average is a better word, in the average population between level 3 and level 4 is a 20-year journey. It's actually more than that. It's actually 22 years in the average population. And that journey through our 20s, into our 30s, into our mid 40s for most people is about not being defined by all of these outside sources, but rather allowing those outside sources to be influences that refine our understanding of ourselves.
Yeah.
And so when we think about that, people who are really caught up in, oh my gosh, what's all this going to mean? All of these affiliations that they hold with either one side or the other, but that they haven't really thought through themselves.
Yeah.
But they're adults. They're smart enough to understand them and adopt them and even repeat them and argue them in some ways.
At least at a surface level. At least at a
Yeah,
surface level. Yeah.
early on at a surface level. And then if there's not growth, it starts to seem shallow, right? Not only is it at a surface level, there's no depth below it.
Yeah.
Right. But becoming level 4, and, back to your question about why hasn't this caught on? Well, this growth from level 3 to level 4, this 20+ year journey that's in the middle of our careers.
Yeah.
That's not a quick fix.
It's a 22
right.
year
It
journey.
it takes a while, but again, one of the things that we know to be true is that when people understand this map and that this journey, they start looking at circumstances and they start saying, why am I letting this bother me so much? I don't want this to bother me this much.
Yeah.
Or what's even better is somebody says something to you and you're losing sleep over what they said. And it's like, I know I shouldn't be letting this bug me, but it's bugging me that it's bugging me, right? And what's that all about? Well, knowing that the next step on the journey, the appropriate next steps are really to, I don't know, really decide who you're going to be in the midst of it. And Jason, you've been down the road long enough. You could tell your own stories about this. I can tell my own stories about this. So in a nutshell, that gets us up to level 4.
Yeah.
85% of the population, no matter how long they live, stops growing at level 4 or below. There are sort of predictable percentages that arrest at kind of half stages or even quarter stages in between level 3 and level 4.
Yeah.
But people who keep growing beyond level 4 to level 5, which is the final destination on the journey if you keep growing, are really characterized not just by owning their position on things, not just by knowing who they are and not being determined by circumstances. Those folks are able to hold that position that groundedness with an open hand and actually look at other people's positions that they're grounded in. And the lens, right, if I pick up my glasses again, the lens that starts to emerge is a more integrated, not just managing the diversity of our perspectives and how relevant is that right now?
Yeah.
But really beginning to celebrate and see the values that knit us together.
Yeah.
It's why when we get to kind of look at the first person writings of people who are no longer with us, but just great leaders, and MLK Jr. right now is so prevalent in the middle of, I'm hearing more and more re-quotations.
Yeah.
But it goes back to Abraham Lincoln. Nelson Mandela is another beautiful example of this, that they began to really see the framework of what knits us together.
Yeah.
Not just what separates us and how we need to manage that.
Are you a small business owner? Have you hit a glass ceiling where year over year, you cannot rise above a certain revenue level? Check out Jason Scott Montoya's book, The Jump, to discover how to level up your leadership and pivot your entrepreneurial passion to the highest level.